share a story with you. And it's my honor to share it with you because it's something that I'm really passionate about. It's a story about hip-hop dance. And no, I'm not going to dance on the stage yet. But what I want to share with you is how hip-hop dance made me a better entrepreneur. I know, weird, right? But I share this story because I want everyone to remember that learning and lessons and opportunities to push yourself can come from anywhere and still have applicability in the business world. So, how is it that hip-hop dance helped me be a better entrepreneur? Well, it was a few years ago. I had already graduated from UC Berkeley with my MBA, and one of the things that I learned in business school was that even though I loved dance, somehow I hadn't made room for it in my career after I had graduated from undergrad. Now, I'm not saying that I ever had any inkling of becoming a professional hip-hop dancer, but what I found was that it was something that was so important to me that I should have made time. It wasn't a matter of not having time, because when things are really, really important to you, you'll make time. So that's one of the things that I had committed myself to doing when I was looking for a job after graduating with my MBA. And so I found a job that had enough work-life balance to provide me with time to dance outside of work. And so I spent my time doing a lot of performance workshops. If you know Funkonometry in San Francisco, I did some dancing with their performance workshops. I took classes in the city, I took classes in Oakland. And eventually, one of the people I met at one of those dance workshops encouraged me to try out for Main Stacks. So Main Stacks, if you don't know, is a competitive hip-hop dance group based out of UC Berkeley. These are undergrads, students who were 10 years younger than me. But they had group tryouts, and my friend from the workshop said that he needed someone to be with him in his group as he tried out. So I said, sure, I'll help. Nothing to lose. I mean, it would be a fun opportunity to learn something new and learn a new routine. So I went out, learned the routine, auditioned with my friend, and I made it. I remember the first meeting. I went in, there was a group of students, and I think one of them was like, oh, you're Michelle. You're the one who's 28. And I was like, yeah. Now the interesting thing about this hip-hop group is that they didn't practice in a studio, which is what I'm used to. In dance, you have a mirror. When you're learning routines, you look at yourself in the mirror, and you figure out what are the things you're doing wrong, and you self-correct based on your image in the mirror. But this group didn't practice the mirrors. They didn't even practice in a studio. They practiced outside, in front of buildings, wherever there was a lot of open space. And I have to say, that shook me. I mean, I'm a type A recovering perfectionist. I like to be able to, practice and get myself ready and look in the mirror and get myself all perfect before I show anyone my dancing skills. And so the idea of having to practice outside without mirrors, I was well, how do I self-correct? How do I know if I have the right angle? And really, I had to rely on my peers to tell me. Now, this is a really new thing for me. I mean, yes, I'm a perfectionist, okay, recovering perfectionist, which means that I like getting things right. And I mean, in my life, I was very used to getting things right, have the right answers, doing things right, like hiding in a closet and perfecting myself until I came out and, ooh, look, I'm perfect. So the idea of relying on other people to tell me whether I was getting things right meant that I didn't have a chance to work on things and practice until I was perfect enough to show the world. I had to just go for it and make mistakes. And I remember during the first practice, like they were telling me, Mish, oh, you gotta move your hand. Mish, you gotta bend lower with that groove. Mish, oh, you're a little off on that timing. It's like ba-boom ka instead of ba-boom boom ka. And I remember that feedback just like hit me like a brick. I had a very visceral reaction to feedback. And looking back, it's because I was so used to working on things like behind the scenes until I got it perfect and came out, that even though I knew the value of feedback, I wasn't really used to receiving it head on. But that was the only way I could learn. That was the only way that I could know if I was matching all the rest of my peers and doing the choreography right. And so practice after practice, they're telling me what were the things that I was doing wrong, where were the areas where I needed to tweak myself, what were the things that I needed to do differently. And I got used to it. And that visceral reaction, that like gut-dropping feeling that I used to feel, slowly faded away. Because what I realized was my goal as a dancer was to dance in unison with my peers. And in giving me feedback, my peers weren't dinging me or dinging my ability as a dancer. They were simply helping me achieve my goal. And looking back at that experience years ago, I'm finding that as an entrepreneur and moving through that lean startup loop of just putting something out there, getting feedback from consumers, observing, learning, and then iterating. Basically, embracing feedback, thriving on feedback, soliciting feedback because that's the only way that I can know if I'm doing the right thing and doing the things that will engage my consumers. My ability to do that is a direct result from my dancing with that hip hop group. And so I just think it's such an interesting lesson. I mean, we talk about feedback a lot, feedback loop, move through the learning loop, fail fast, fail often. But make sure that you have opportunities that will help build your resiliency and your understanding that feedback and the function of feedback is to help you. Because the sooner you can internalize that, the better and faster you can learn the things that you need to learn in order to build a successful business. So, who wants to go hip hop dance outside?